Welcome to the show. Once again, we have a fabulous lineup of guests to energize and inspire you.
It's time to wake up your wow with your host, international award-winning speaker, Cath Vincent.
On the show tonight, gold medalist and Olympic ambassador Barbara Kendall speaks about embracing your superpower and keeping in balance. Psychic medium Melissa Mills shares the intimate details of her own superpower and communicating with deceased loved ones. Success coach Viren Gomba explains procrastination and how to beat it. And in the Wild Records music slot with Jesse Wild, we hear from the Jason McIver Collective. All this and more to wake up your wow. Barbara, welcome. I'm so excited that you're here.
It's great to be here.
Now, 3-time Olympic medalist, 4-time world champion. That's a lot of success.
Yes, it was. It's been an amazing journey.
So tell me a bit about the road. Are champions born or are they nurtured? How did we get to be successful?
I think it's a bit of both.
Yeah.
You know, first of all, I was born into a family that was really keen sailors.
Yes.
So that was obviously a passion that I was going to pick up onto. But in saying that, some families that doesn't happen to. But me, when I started sailing my own boat, I found that I had a superpower.
Ooh, I like that. Tell us about your superpower.
So it's unconscious learning. And so that unconscious learning came from my parents. And so when I jumped into this boat, I found that I had a natural ability which I didn't know that I had. But from watching my parents, I'd learnt stuff that I didn't know that came out in physical motion. And so when I jumped into this boat, I could make it go fast. And I tried lots of other sports at school. But the one that really resonated with me was sailing.
Do you think everybody has a superpower, but we just haven't maybe figured it out yet?
I think but it comes in different forms and shapes, superpowers. So like it could be an intellect, it could be a characteristic, so you get on with people, or you have an amazing job of creating great atmosphere within a room of people. It could be like a numbers superpower, it could be a physicality superpower, it could be a rhythm superpower, it could be a musical superpower. Yes, I firmly believe that everybody has something that they're good at, but a lot of us don't recognise those attributes.
Right, so the first step was that you actually went, hey, I do have a superpower, and then what happened?
Then I think every successful person has a dream, and I think my dream was that I wanted to travel and see the world. I figured that I've got to get out of New Zealand and see how the world ticks because I've got an adventurous spirit, and I knew that sport was my only ticket to that, and the only sport I was really good in was sailing. So when I was about 16, I had to make a choice of which type of sailing class I was going to put all my energies into.
Yeah. So you made your choice, and then tell me a bit about the training and the rigours and the discipline and that kind of thing. Was it hard or easy?
Well, I think it's always hard, but if you're enjoying it, it's going to come easy.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yes, absolutely.
So, you know, Mum always said to me, you know, anything good is worth working for, you know, that it's fun. And definitely there were times, it was like a roller coaster, just like any career that you go through. But if you give something 100, I'm a firm believer, if you give something 100% and you're really passionate about it and it comes from your spirit, then you will always find ways that you can become really good at it.
Yeah.
And so it was a lot of hard work. And I left school after year 12, which is Form 6 in my generation.
So how old is that?
17, I think I was 17, so I didn't quite finish my high school years, and got part-time jobs so I could sail or windsurf during the day.
Yeah.
And then one thing led to another, and when my sport became Olympic in 1992, there was the childhood dream of always going to the Olympic Games.
Yeah.
So, and then with my brother being a windsurfer as well, and when he was away, I'd steal his equipment,
nice,
which was great.
Stealing, don't steal. Stealing's bad.
But he was away, so he couldn't tell me off. And then my sister was into it too, so we all just played together. And it's a lifestyle. It was a lifestyle sport, which turned into a career.
Yeah. What kind of sacrifices did you have to make?
Well, a lot of it, the circle of friends that you have completely changes, because I spent, you know, from 3 months to 4 months to 6 months to 8 months overseas every single year. So I live in a global village, and most of my soulmates, whatever you want to call them, soul sisters, or they all now live overseas. And so thank goodness for Facebook and social media so I can keep up in touch with them. And so you lose a lot of your friendships change. Things like my 21st birthday, I remember jumping onto an aeroplane, flying to Lake Garda for a competition, and when I got there my birthday was over, so I had it in the aeroplane. Missed out on lots of weddings, funerals, family celebrations, those types of things. But there's no regrets, so I don't look back and go, oh no, it's because I was an athlete. It was because this is what I really wanted to do, so there was no regrets.
Yeah. Is there anything you'd change if you were going to run the tape again?
Not really, actually, at this stage. It was really hard doing it with 2 kids in tow.
Yeah.
Because I did 2 Olympic Games with 2 young ones coming along, and I couldn't leave them home. So being a mum and travelling a lot, which hasn't stopped actually, that's probably was the hardest thing that I've had to do, is try and juggle that whole, you become emotional because you're a mum, but you've got to be really hard as a competitor, and I reckon I lost my edge after I had kids, but I wouldn't have changed it for the world.
Yeah. Did they boast about you? Mummy's an Olympic.
No, they have no idea. They had no idea. In fact, I think it's only still dawning on them now who mum is. Yeah. And my daughter the other day, who's now 13, we were driving in the car and she said, Mum, there's so much I didn't know about you. And I go, darling, we've only just scratched the surface.
You don't know the first thing about me.
You don't. And I've tried to keep it quite separate because I'm just their mum. I'm not this other person. So.
And actually, that's a message to 13-year-olds everywhere. You don't know the first thing about your mum.
No, they don't know what's going on. And most things you do, darling, they won't shock me because your mother's been there and done that.
So what are you working on now?
Okay, so in 2004, I became an International Olympic Committee member. So there's 115 of us in the world are the caretakers of the Olympic rings. Wow. And we decide things like what sport's going to be in the Olympic program, where the Olympics going to be. I work on the sport and environment, so I sit on a commission that's responsible for the carbon footprint of what the Olympic Games is doing and how bid cities, when they bid for Olympic Games, how we can make that sustainable. Wow. I also represent the athletes, so we talk about things that affect athletes, like athletes transition from sport. So I manage the Oceania Athletes Career Program and go around to all the islands and have now trainers underneath me where we go in and we do life skill training for athletes so they can identify their leadership skills and the life skills that you learn from sport that are completely transferable.
It sounds to me that you're still one very busy lady.
Yes, and I have to come up for air and take breaths, and most of the time my kids come and kiss me goodnight.
Do they tuck you in?
They tuck me in and kiss me goodnight. Good night, Mummy. And off they go, because I'm usually in bed before they are. Yeah.
So do you have any leisure?
Yes. Yeah. So the whole family's surfing. And so just this weekend, we were all surfing together up north, and that's what we do as a family thing. And then I'm not a big winter fan, and the only way I can survive winter is if we all go skiing. So we still do lots of leisure activities, and with all that busyness, I still try to be home for the kids after school and during the school holidays. So we still have a bit of balance there. Yeah.
So before you go, what is your one tip for balance?
An amazing support team around you. Yeah. So, and actually, every week, at the end of every week, I pretty much sit down and go, okay, what do I need to do better as far as the family goes, as far as I'm concerned, because you have to look after yourself as well. And if you look after yourself first, then all the other things will roll into place. Yeah. Then your family, and then work comes third.
Yeah, brilliant. Thanks for all those tips, Barbara. Awesome having you here today.
Thanks.
Thank you. Next up, psychic medium Melissa Mills on connecting with the deceased. Melissa, welcome.
Thank you, Cath.
Now, you are a psychic medium. That sounds kind of scary and spooky and mysterious. And a lot of people, kind of are a bit scared of that stuff.
And I get it. I always say I've been on the 3 sides of the fence. The skeptic, the kind of believer, and actually doing it. Right. And my mission is to kind of change that point of view, because it's really not a scary, dark and gloomy thing. I don't have a crystal ball. No.
I was going to ask you to bring your crystal ball.
No, sorry, I don't have one.
So help us demystify, because literally I think some people don't even know what it is, they just go, ooh. So what is a medium? Explain it to us.
Well, there are two parts of my job. So the medium part of what I do is when I help to communicate with your loved ones who are no longer here.
Right.
So basically I give them a voice. I'm like the messenger. I say I'm the mailman. I just deliver the letter.
And actually, when you describe it in that way, to communicate with loved ones who aren't with us, that does sound lovely. But I think people kind of think, oh, are you seeing dead people all the time? I mean, I don't know. Are you?
People ask me that, I know. When I'm not working, I'm just normal Melissa. Yeah. So it's one of those things, I turn it on and off, like a radio station. So no, I don't predominantly see people around just when I feel like it. It's when I'm working.
So what would you say to someone who go, oh, this is too crazy for me, or don't understand it, don't get it, bit scared of it?
I'd say it's just like having a chat.
Yeah.
It really is. Nothing's going to move in the room. You're not going to magically start seeing anything. It really isn't. It's just like what you and I are doing right now. And it's basically, I'm helping you.
Yeah. I'm
giving you hope. I'm giving you reassurance. Giving you things to look forward to. It's just, I love it. It's just like a girly chat.
Yeah. And can this kind of spiritualism coexist with religion?
Totally.
Yeah.
I believe religion is your belief system and spiritualism is a way of life. So being a spiritualist means that you're trying to be the best person that you can, you're manifesting, which is the most brilliant word, which means, creating your life through visualization. You're using, positive affirmations, and you're using, people up there to help you create the life that you really want.
Right. And do they ever tell you anything bad? Do they say, oh, something terrible is going to happen?
Well, we have to look at life. It's not just all white picket fences and red roses. There's always going to be ups and downs. So I never look at it as something bad, but it's more helping you to know that something's going to be coming up and that you're going to maybe need to have a support system, or just to get you in the frame of mind that there might be some hard times. I don't predict deaths. I don't let myself open to that.
Right, okay.
So I might get a message like, look, I feel you need to go to the doctor and get, a mammogram done because I feel there may be something wrong there. If I can help you prevent that, then that's what I'm going to do.
And you actually do shows, don't you? You do events and invite people to come in and contact their loved ones.
Totally. I have sellout shows even, and it's amazing to see how many people actually want to come to these events. And it's being as a collective, as a group, the energy in the room is just so uplifting. And even if you don't get a message, you get a message from everyone else's message, and you will definitely leave with something.
Right.
So I love it.
So you're standing on the stage, you're contacting loved ones. I bet any money that there's somebody in the audience dying to disprove you. Dying, sorry.
No pun intended.
That's an interesting way to do it.
I would hope no one would die while I was doing a show.
But I mean, there will be people who really want to go, this is nonsense, and I'm going to point it out. Are people trying to catch you out?
Totally. And I just feel I have nothing to prove.
Yeah.
I really don't. I mean, if you want to come to my show because you want to hear from your loved ones, great. If you want to think that I make this up, then you come and sit with me backstage and you realise that I don't talk to anybody. I don't even really know who's coming to the show. I really know nothing about these people, and I'm an evidential medium, so I have to give you evidence that there's no way I would know this stuff.
Right. So you're saying very specific things that you could only know by contacting
That's
that
right.
person.
So just for example, say your grandmother had 4 toes.
Yeah.
That might be, how would I know that? And I would say, look, I've got your grandmother and she's showing me that she actually lost her big toe. And you'll be like, oh my goodness, how did you know that?
Yeah.
Because that's not really something.
You don't chat about that if your grandma's got 4 toes.
Yeah.
You don't really.
But that would be like a really specific piece of evidence.
But actually, I mean, I guess there are a lot of scam artists in this sector.
And it's really frustrating because the point of this is to uplift people and to bridge the gap between the two worlds, to bring healing. And it does actually really frustrate me that people take advantage of that vulnerability.
Yeah. And how would you like to see things change in the future?
Well, my plan is to eventually have a school here in New Zealand. I want people to be certified, to be a practitioner, because you're dealing with people's lives, and I've taken that journey very seriously, so I've become accredited.
Right.
And so I have that pretty certificate in my room that shows that I'm, can do this. I've sat the test and what have you. And I just want people to feel connected to themselves.
Yeah.
That's part of my job as a psychic medium, is to help you tune into your divine guidance that you possess as well. So I just want to change the way this is seen.
Yeah. Wow. Well, that sounds like a great mission to have. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Next up, procrastination buster Viren Gomba on how to stop putting things off. Viren, welcome. I'm so glad you're here.
It's a pleasure to be here. This orange seat is being used by so many outstanding people.
I know.
It's a privilege to be on this one.
Now, listen, you're talking to us today about procrastination. Why is that important?
Because procrastination is usually the single most reason that holds people back from achieving their goals.
Right, okay, so interesting. Whether your goal is to be an Olympic medalist or whether it's something in business, procrastination is the thing that holds people back, you say?
Exactly. Procrastination is ubiquitous. It's everywhere. The biggest club in the world is called the Procrastination Club,
We've all been in
we
that.
all, and it has, proactive members, active members, and not so active members. So we all are members of this club from time to time.
Right, so just summarise in a nutshell the definition of procrastination.
A simple definition of procrastination is to postpone things, to put things off to another day, things that you say and you know that you want to do, to be successful.
Yeah, and yet we put them off. Why is that?
But there are two main reasons for procrastination. Number one, this lack of goals clarity, when you're not really sure what exactly it is you want to achieve in life or in a part of your life. And number two is the fear of failure, which usually stems from either your past experiences or other people's experiences.
Right, okay. And so give me an example of a circumstance in which someone might procrastinate because of one of those two.
If you are, for example, wanting to start a new business,
Yeah.
and then you have so many things that you have to do to start that business, and that means you have to really get a name for your business, get a website, define your image, what exactly you want to do, and define your target market. So a lot of elements to it. And suddenly, there's so much in front of you that you achieve.
Yeah.
And then you sit down and think, oh God, this is so overwhelming, I can't do it. And then you start to procrastinate.
Yeah.
So this is just one example of how it starts.
Okay. Is there actually a cure for procrastination? Is it a kind of one size fits all, do this and you'll get over procrastination?
Yes, certainly there is. I've got a kit called Non-Procrastination Kit.
Great. Where can you buy that?
Which you can carry anywhere, and the customs won't even bother you. And it's a 3S formula, which stands for specific, strong, and small. Right. So when I say specific, it's about specifying your goals very clearly.
Right.
And it has you have to answer three questions in this part. What is it exactly you want to achieve? Why you want to achieve it? And when do you want to achieve it by?
Right.
So when I say, what is it you want to achieve? So you need to be really, really specific. I have some people sometimes come to me and say, oh, I want to be richer. And so they need to really specify whether they want to earn 100K, 200K, 500K, whatever that is.
Right.
Just to be very, very specific.
Yeah, because if you don't set the goal, how do you know when you've gotten there?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the second part is, why do you want to achieve it? What's the reason? What's driving you to that goal? So they need to define the why, because that's what drives their what.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard it said you can do anything if the why is big enough.
Why is big enough. You
Yeah.
need to be very, very clear with the why.
Yeah.
And third one is when do you want to achieve it? So our brain is needs some specific instructions. If you want to say, I want to be a millionaire, it doesn't understand when do you want to be a millionaire by, in this birth or next birth, or, in 50 years, or in 5 years, in 5 months. So giving it a deadline helps your brain to start working towards it.
Right.
So you need to answer those three questions. I'll give you an example of one of my clients who is an IT professional, and so she had been planning to write a book on how IT professionals can regain their social communication skills. Because
it's a great niche, actually.
Because IT professionals usually are talking to their computers or other tech devices, and they tend to lose those social communication skills.
Yeah.
So you want to write a book about that. Anyway, so she would sit down after dinner to do some research on this topic, and about an hour later, a couple of hours later, she would find herself Facebooking, talking to her friends, 3 chat windows open,
Yeah, we've all done that.
completely unrelated to what she wanted to do. But as soon as she answered those 3 questions, she specified very clearly her goal, why she wanted to do it, and when she wanted to do it by. She had the first draft of her book ready within 30 days.
Wow, awesome.
So that's the power of specificity.
So when someone lays out, here's what I want to do, I've specified it, and here's the time frame, then what about those days where they go, I just don't feel like it. I don't feel like staying up late to write my book, or I don't feel like getting up early to do what needs to be done. What advice can you give them?
Yeah, so there's this hidden power within. When you define your why, that gives you power.
Right.
Because your why drives you.
Yeah.
Remember when I said your why is the high purpose, why you want to achieve this goal, why you want to become a millionaire? It's just for money, or is it a high purpose to it?
Right.
So that drives you, that wakes you up in the morning every day.
Right.
And if you have this weakness of doubting yourself, doubting your skills, you can start doubting your doubts. You can use the same skill to doubt your doubts.
Doubt your doubts.
Yeah. And if
How
you,
unusual.
if you find yourself consistently postponing things,
Yeah.
you can use the same skill to postpone your procrastination. Right?
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
That's actually really cool.
Yeah, so that gives you power, right?
So just let's work through this in an example. So I'm sitting at my desk and I need to pick up the phone, or I need to do something that I'm procrastinating on. Yeah. How do I postpone my procrastination?
Is to start with identifying what skills you have,
Yeah.
right? Now, procrastination is a skill that you developed over the years,
Yeah,
right?
you're
With
really
much
good
hard
at
work and
it.
consistency, right? So a lot of people are quite consistent with procrastination. It's just basically to identify what's my strengths, what my weaknesses. Or this is my weakness, how can I flip it around? How can I use it to my benefit?
Yeah.
This is a skill, you know. If I'm consistent with something, I can be consistent with taking action as well.
Right. So how can I turn that around?
So if you take 5 minutes of action every single day towards your goals in all areas of your life, that gives you power and to move forward.
Yeah.
For example, if you have a business, we have to make cold calls, and then sit down with a list of 20 potential prospects. You're bound to get overwhelmed by this, right? Yeah. And so you just pick 3 prospects at a time. Get it done in small bites, because action cures all the fears and eventually procrastination.
Yeah. And once you're in momentum, things in motion stay in motion, don't they?
Exactly. Keeps giving you power. There's also a saying just called little by little you build your power. So it's little by little action. You don't have to do massive action.
Yeah.
Keep things simple.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay, I love the idea of actually postponing your procrastination. What a great idea.
It's worked for me.
Brilliant. Well, listen, thanks so much for sharing all those tips with us.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure.
Thanks.
If you've been loving the music we've brought you each week on the Cath Vincent Show, you can buy the Wild Records compilation CDs from Season 1 and Season 2. Wishes Won't Wait and Wildest Dreams are on sale now for just $25 each.
Jesse Wild, welcome back once again.
Great to be here again.
Now, who is recording in the studio right now?
We have the Jason McIver Collective. And that consists of Jason on acoustic guitar and vocal and Johnny Boone on percussion.
Ooh, percussion. Well, let's hear from the Jason McIver Collective.
Let's do it.
Are we alone? I can't help but feel that I'm not home. I look to the stars. It's a long road on your own. When and is it the same? Same spirit on a different day. What can I do to make this change? I don't want to walk around like I'm insane. No, no, no. That's just a stupid name to cover the blame, 'cause no one knows just where you've been or where you'll go. No, no, no. Ease a heavy heart, we'll take it slow, slow, slow. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, 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 yeah. Am I alone? I can't help but feel that I'm not home when I look to the stars. When I'm reaching, do I reach too far? And when I walk, I got no skin on my bones, old worn bones. These old bones have an easy soul, 'cause no one knows just where you've been or where you'll go. No, no, no. Ease a heavy heart, you'll take it slow. Nobody knows just where you've been or where you'll go. No, 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 no. Ease a heavy heart, take it slow.
Superb. I love it. That was fun. That was super fun.
Thank you very much.
Now tell us a bit about that song.
That song's called Look to the Stars. It's on this EP, which I'll give to you.
Thank you.
On the Big Blue EP. And it's basically just about trying to find yourself, looking upwards to the skies, whoever's listening, help me find myself, basically. And that's kind of what that song was. The road is open, walk it, or you can sit at home and not.
Yeah. So as we heard earlier in the show, you can sit in your comfort zone or you can
Yeah.
go do something.
Exactly.
So now listen, you're working on a bunch of stuff, aren't you?
We are indeed. We've got a new album being recorded in August, and then we'll be touring. We've got some pretty awesome shows rigged up that I can't spill the details to at the moment. But
Keeping secrets from us.
well, don't jinx it. But it is. It's looking good. It's looking good. We go keep an eye on the Southern Collective music page, which is our label in Wellington, and the Jason McIver Collective page on Facebook, and there should be some details in the coming months.
And Johnny, I really love that. What is that?
You've got to tell them where that drum is from.
Yeah, the drum I was playing today, it's called a djembe drum, and it's a West African percussion instrument. It's made of very hard wood, and it's got, this particular one has a cow skin on top. It's very tight. It's a very beautiful instrument. I love playing it.
Yeah, it sounds
Sounds
great.
awesome.
It really does. It kind of gets you right through your heart, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It comes across really well on a big PA system.
Yeah.
It really
yeah.
pops.
Brilliant. Well, hey, I would love to see you guys live.
Cool.
It'd be awesome.
We'll be out there this summer.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Rocking the country.
Check out the website and
Yeah, we're a 5-piece band usually.
Yeah.
Sounds a bit different, stripped down, but it's good.
Yeah.
It's real fun.
Cool. Thanks
Thank
so
you very
much
much.
for joining
Thank
us.
you for having us. It's been great.
yeah.
My thanks to all my special guests, to Barbara, to Melissa, to Viren, to Jason and Johnny, and our very own Jessie Wild. And until next time, don't wait to wake up your wow.
I love about your shoes. They kind of would match my nail polish, actually, because my nail polish is quite sparkly.
Are yours really uncomfortable?
They're not so bad, but I'm not looking forward to walking.